Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, the first tutorial from the new studio. As you can probably tell, I'm still experimenting a little bit with camera angles, lighting and stuff like that. I also decided to get a plant, so there's that. But let me know if there's anything that I can do to make the setup look a little bit more interesting. For now though, what I want to do today is I want to work on a pad sound for the preset pack. Now I've actually been making quite a bit of progress with the preset pack. I think I have around 40 presets right now. One of these is this pad that I already made. But this is the only pad that I have right now, so obviously I would like to have a few more so that we have a little bit of choice in terms of whatever pads that you want to use for your tracks. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm just going to start off with like a one note pad here. In this case, we do have a chord laid out, as you can see by these ghost notes right here. But the key that we're playing is just E1 here. This means that this is going to be one octave above the octave of the sub bass. What I personally like to do with my presets is that I don't actually pitch them within the patch itself. I allow the user to pitch it however they want. What that means is that there's always going to be an oscillator that is going to be at 0 octave, even for things like bass sounds and stuff like that. A lot of preset producers, what they'll do is they'll already set this to like -2 octaves if it's playing a bass sound. I personally don't like that because I would like to be able to do that within the MIDI. Now, before we continue, I do quickly have to say that if you want to support this channel, make sure that you like the video and that you're subscribed. Also, if you want to support me financially, you can do so by checking out my products on Gumroad or supporting me directly on Patreon. With that being said, let's get back into the video. So I'm just going to start out with some kind of tone. I want something a little bit more evolving than your average kind of saw wave or square wave or something like that. So I'm just going to I guess there's this evolution one here, so we can try that. And let's just see what that sounds like. I'm going to temporarily set this to like 2 bars so that we can hear the actual evolution of this evolution wavetable. And to me, the tone that we have here isn't really what I'm looking for. One, it's too gritty, and two, the kind of evolution that we're getting is kind of like a step sounding evolution. It sounds like it goes wah, 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 something like that. It's hard to explain, but that's just kind of the vibe that I'm getting from it. So I'm just going to browse through a few wavetables and we'll see what we find. Now this might be interesting to include, so I'm going to save this in the second oscillator, and then we can continue browsing in here. So I decided to go with this crush rub wavetable here. And I'm just going to add in the second oscillator again, and now we just need to set it up so that it works for a pad. So we'll probably have 2 different octaves and a little bit of detune on both of them. In terms of movement, this is not really what I'm looking for. What I would like to do is probably have this move quite fast and then have this tied to some kind of envelope so that it just moves up and down once. So we can use the LFO for the first one, and let's set it to, for example, 1/2. We'll set the range a little bit lower, just so that there's some interesting fast movement happening. And now we use the second envelope here. Let's give it some attack. Let's give it some decay. Let's give it some release. And let's assign that to the wavetable. Just trying to find a good position for it. I also want to see if we can get the nice sustain position here. That actually sounds quite nice. I like that. Let's set up envelope 1. And then we'll engage the filter. I'm going to go with one of these multis. I do want a low pass, but I want to combine that, let's say with a notch. Let's should be fun. I like that kind of movement that we have there. We can add it like this. And then we can also introduce some movement from the envelope. And we're getting a nice dark pad out of that. What I would like to do is remove that one very low, very strong fundamental that we're getting. I think something like that would be good. What I would like to do is I would like to take all of these modulations that we have, at least the ones on maybe the wavetail position, so mainly this one, and I would like to also tie that to the mod wheel. So the way that I'm going to do that is just have the mod wheel take over here, and I'm going to do that trick that I've shown before, where we have to match this. So this is the wavetail position controlled by the envelope. We also have the wavetail position controlled by the mod wheel. So we want it so that if this activates, if you're turning up the mod wheel anywhere that isn't 0%, what we want is we want this mod wheel to take over and this modulation to stop. In order to set that up, we set it to inverse so that this aux source is taken inversely and it's applied to the amount right here. And then you just set it to 99, which basically says that if this is 0%, then it's going to go down and then it's going to work because this is inverse. And for any other percentage is going to the maximum and therefore it's going to completely turn off this modulation. Now I just quickly want to set up delay and reverb for this patch. So let's set this to 0 for both. And then we'll assign our trusty fourth macro to here and here. This is again just kind of like an ambience macro. Something like that. I think what I want to go for is more of a reverb sound. Let's really get the high frequencies out of there. I like that, but I feel like it needs to be smeared out even more. So I'm going to set up a macro for that as well. We'll set this to the high frequencies and we'll get a nice kind of smearing setting like this, which you get with feedback as well as depth like that. And then this is going to smear it out even more. So probably something like this. To be honest, I do think that this modulation is maybe going a little bit too high still, so we'll go down a bit more. Or what we can do is we can just use the mod wheel on this. Either the mod wheel, but I do like to use the mod wheel to kind of take over modulation. So I think I'll use the macro here, and then we'll use the mod wheel to take over the filter. So it's the same trick, inverse, inverse, 99, 99, and you're good. Okay, so I've just named these. What I want to do next is I want to find a use for the final macro. And usually this involves some kind of way of changing the tonality as well, some kind of grittiness, something like that. So the classic way of doing that is using some kind of FM. We have the sub oscillator available. And what I want to try is 1 octave lower so that you get a nice low kind of gritty feeling to it, hopefully. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that kind of tone, but it does seem really, really nice. So I set it up for both of them. What I need to do now to finalize this preset is set up pitch bend, 12 minus 12. And we'll give it a description. A little label to tell you what the modwheel does. And then finally, we have to save our preset here. So that's how I made that sound. Hopefully you guys like this, where I just sit down and make one sound. It's a very easy video for me to make, so I don't have to like prepare anything for that, which means that anytime I don't really have a video idea, I can just kind of create one. I do want to know if you do like these videos, so let me know by leaving a like, and if you have any suggestions for them, you can leave a comment as well. But that's going to be the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.
It's impossible to tell.